This conference will now be recorded.
So in today's session, we are going to discuss about lighting framework. So we have to understand what exactly lighting framework and why should we go for lighting framework in Salesforce especially, and what kind of lighting frameworks that Salesforce introduced, and when they have introduced this lighting framework, what kind of benefits that we have with the lighting framework, and where we can use this lighting framework features, we'll see one by one. And before going to those features, we'll see what is the history of lighting framework. From classic to lighting, how they have migrated, what is this journey of introducing this lighting framework, the complete history we'll see one by one. Now, so that already we know Salesforce.com is an organization which has started in 1990s by a person called as Mark Benioff. Salesforce.com is an organization which has started in 1990s by a person called as Mark Benioff. Now, so from the beginning of this organization, they are purely offering cloud services. They purely offers cloud services to the customers on rental basis. From the beginning of this organization, they are purely offering cloud services to the customers on rental basis. Now, what do you mean by a cloud service? How to access the cloud services? Through internet, right? So, cloud services doesn't require any installations into your local system. You no need to install anything in our local system. Directly, we can access these cloud features just with the help of browser and internet access. With the help of browser and the internet access, we can access these cloud features. That is a major benefit of cloud services. Now, so from the beginning of this organization, Salesforce.com is purely offering cloud services to the customers. Now, as part of this organization, they are offering three classifications of cloud services. Salesforce offers three classifications of cloud services. Salesforce offers three classifications of cloud services. First one, SaaS. Second one, PaaS. Third one, infrastructure as a service. These are the three classifications of services offered by Salesforce to the customers on rental basis. First one, SaaS. SaaS means what? Software as a service. Second one, platform as a service. Third one, infrastructure as a service. So these are the three classifications of services offered by Salesforce to the customers on rental basis. They're offering softwares also as a service, platform also as a service, infrastructure also as a service. Now, now tell me what ready-made software is offered by Salesforce to the customers on rental basis. As part of SaaS, what is the ready-made software offered by Salesforce? They have offered a ready-made software called as Salesforce CRM, which is used to automate your Okay, sales data, service data, and the marketing related data. Okay, now. So in that case, if you want to customize, that means if you want to build your own custom applications, we are using the help of a platform. What is the platform offered by Salesforce? Force.com platform. As part of infrastructure, they're offering various server resources to the customers on rental basis. Now, Salesforce offers three classifications of cloud services. They're offering the software, platform, infrastructure. These are the three categories of cloud services offered by Salesforce. And as part of software, they're offering a ready-made software to the customer on rental basis that is called as Salesforce CRM. As part of platform as a service, they're offering a ready-made platform called as Force.com platform. As part of infrastructure as a service, they're introducing an infrastructure also to the customers on rental basis in terms of server resources. Okay, now, so now here in this case, now we are not going to be discussing about this Salesforce CRM. We are talking about Force.com platform. So then what exactly this a Force.com platform and what we can do? How can we build the applications by using Force.com platform? What drawbacks are available? And what kind of additional features are the programming and the frameworks introduced by Salesforce? We'll see one by one. Let's see the complete history of the Lightning framework one by one. Now, let's see. So that already we know Salesforce introduced the Force.com platform. That already we know Salesforce introduced Force.com platform. When in the year 2000. Okay, when in the year 2000, Salesforce introduced a platform. Now, in the year 2000, Salesforce introduced Force.com platform. Salesforce introduced Force.com platform. Salesforce introduced the Force.com platform in the year 2000. Now, as part of this Force.com platform, they have introduced two features over there. First one, Apex programming. Second one, S controls. These are the two features introduced by Salesforce. We don't have Visual Force programming at that time. Okay. So now Force.com platform contains Apex and Visual Force. But in the year 2000, we don't have any Visual Force programming. As part of Force.com platform, we have two programming languages are available. First one, Apex programming. Second one, S controls. Now, so now this Apex programming, we know Apex programming is for to build business logics. In order to build the business logics, we are using Apex programming, which can be used to perform the required operations inside the application. In order to perform certain operations, like as to get some data from the database object, to insert some records, to update some record, to perform any DML operations, okay, it may be manual, it may be automation, we can use the help of Apex programming. Then this S control they have introduced especially for okay user interface designs. For user interface designs, they have introduced S controls. Like for example, whenever you are getting any requirement from Deloitte, okay, when you observe any requirements from Deloitte, in Deloitte requirement compulsory they will mention S controls. Okay, they will definitely mention that S controls. Now let's see. Let me search over here. Let me go to that Naukri. Let's fit the Deloitte requirements. When you go to that Deloitte requirements for especially for Salesforce, now, because some old applications are available here. For that one here, they would like to give the support. So whenever we are having any Salesforce requirement from Deloitte, okay, they will mention that, okay, S controls also in that requirement. Okay, now. So now here in this case, as part of this force StatCom platform in the year 2000, we are having only two programming languages. First one Apex programming, second one S controls. So now Apex programming is for the business logic implementations. S controls is for user interface designs. Okay, now let's see. So let me give these points over here. Apex is for business logic implementation. Yes, controls are for user interface design. Now, basically, this yes controls is purely built upon, okay, this yes controls is purely built upon Ajax toolkit. Yes, controls is purely built upon Ajax toolkit. Ajax toolkit. Yes, controls is purely built upon Ajax toolkit. So now Ajax means what here? Ajax stands for asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Ajax stands for asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Ajax stands for asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Now, so in this case, in order to design the user interfaces, we are using the help of S controls. S controls are purely built upon Ajax toolkit. So Ajax is a separate third-party library which contains a collection of visual appearance controls are available. So in this case, to design this kind of S controls, to design your own user interfaces, we are using the help of HTML and then JavaScript and then CSS. We have to use HTML, JavaScript and the CSS because Ajax toolkit is purely built upon okay HTML, JavaScript and then CSS, cascading style sheets. Now, so now here in this case here, as part of this S controls, we have to use the help of HTML programming, we have to use JavaScript, we have to use CSS. These are the three programming languages we should be aware of that here. In order to work on these S controls, you should be aware of HTML and the JavaScript, CSS because Ajax toolkit is purely built upon okay, HTML, JavaScript, and the XML. So now basically Ajax toolkit. Toolkit is what toolkit means what? It's a library. Okay, it's a library which provides a collection of visual appearance controls like as text boxes, checkboxes, radio buttons, pick list controls, table controls, grid controls, panel controls. Various controls are available inbuilt in this Ajax toolkit so that we can use this Ajax toolkit, okay, in order to build your own applications as part of Force.com platform. For user interface designing, we are using S controls. So now as part of this S controls, it is purely built upon Ajax toolkit. Ajax toolkit internally using HTML, JavaScript, and the CSS. So we should be aware of all these three, and along with that, once by using these three, we can design the user interface, and then to perform that client server-side operations, we are using Apex programming. So Apex is for, okay, server side over here. Okay, server side operations, we are using Apex programming. Okay. Now, so in this case, in order to build your own applications in the year 2000, okay, we have to be aware of these two Apex and S controls. Now, in this case here, Salesforce people got an idea. Instead of using, okay, our own, okay, tags, instead of using our own visual appearance controls, we are going to be depending on Ajax toolkit. Right now, Ajax toolkit is available in the market. Suppose in future, if Ajax toolkit has been retired from the IT industry, then what about our applications, our customers? They will be getting affected. So for that reason, we don't want to, okay, rely on Ajax toolkit. We don't want to use S controls so that they would like to replace this S controls. So that in the year 2007, okay, in the year 2007, to replace this S controls, Salesforce introduced a new, okay, web development framework that is called as Visual Force. Visual Force has been introduced by Salesforce in the year 2007. To replace S controls, they have introduced that Visual Force programming in the year 2007. Now, in the year 2007 here, in the year 2007, Salesforce introduced Visual Force programming. This is the history of Salesforce. These are the various major changes that Salesforce did. Now, initially we are having, okay, Apex programming and the S controls. Later they have introduced Visual Force programming in the year 2007. Because to replace this yes controls, to replace this, okay, Ajax toolkit, they have introduced a separate programming web development framework that is called as Visual Force programming, introduced by Salesforce in the year 2007 as part of Force.com platform. So from there onwards, upon building your own custom applications, the people are using Apex programming and then Visual Force programming over there. Instead of using yes controls, it has been replaced with Visual Force programming. Okay, for user interface design, we are using Visual Force programming, and for the business logic, we are using Apex programming here. Now, so now here in this case, as part of this Visual Force programming, they have introduced their own tags. Because as of now, yes, controls is purely built upon Ajax toolkit. Ajax toolkit internally using HTML tags and the JavaScript and the CSS. Instead of using HTML tags as part of Visual Force, Salesforce has given their own built-in tags over here. Salesforce provides a collection of built-in tags as part of Visual Force programming. So now what are those tags they have introduced? Now let me list out once over here. As part of this Visual Force programming, it contains its own built-in tags also available here. Now, Visual Force contains built-in tags. What are the various built-in tags that we have in Visual Force programming? Now let me list out one by one. The first tag is Apex page tag. Okay, because each Visual Force page tag name should be prefixing with the word Apex colon. Now we are having Apex farm tag, Apex page block tag, Apex section header tag, Apex page block section tag, Apex command button tag, Apex command link tag, Apex page block table tag. Like that, here we are having so many built-in tags are available as part of Visual Force programming. So instead of people are learning this HTML programming, JavaScript, and the CSS, Salesforce has incorporated all these functionalities inside their own programming Visual Force. Visual Force is a web development framework which is used to design your own customized user interfaces. In order to design your own customized user interfaces based on the business needs, we are using Visual Force programming. In this Visual Force programming, we have so many visual appearance controls. These are all are the various visual appearance controls available in the form of tags in order to place your own visual appearance controls like text boxes, buttons, hyperlinks, pick list, checkbox, radio buttons. To place all these controls, we are using the help of these Visual Force tags. These tags are nothing but the Visual Force components here. We can able to use these components to design your own user interface depends upon the business needs. So from there onwards, from 2007 onwards, everybody is feeling very happy because they no need to learn Ajax toolkit because learning Ajax toolkit is very, very difficult. Okay, it will be very complex. So now here in this case, debugging facilities are not available. That is a major issue. So for that reason here, instead of using this Ajax toolkit, everybody has been migrated from S controls to Visual Force. So the people are feeling very happy, and that too, most of the functionalities are available in this Visual Force tags built in. Ready-madely, we are having so many features are available in the form of tag properties. So that here we can able to use Visual Force programming to design your own user interfaces. So from there onwards, from 2007 onwards, most of the people has started using Visual Force programming and Apex programming as part of this Force.com platform. So now here from this 2007 onwards, whatever the applications that we are going to build, those applications will be called as classic development. Those are called as classic development. And from 2007, whatever the features we are going to build, those are called as classic development features. This is called as classic development. Classic development has introduced from 2007 onwards. Now, so from there onwards, the people has built the applications by using Force.com platform with the help of Apex programming, with the help of Visual Force programming. Now, from there onwards, the people are using the applications. Applications are working very fine. The customers are also very happy, and the clients are also very happy with the applications and the features. Now, so now in this case, from 2010 and 2012 onwards, so now from 2010 or 2012 onwards, usage of mobile apps are very, very high. Usage of mobile apps. So many people are going to be using mobile apps. So now previous to the 2010, everybody is accessing the application by using laptop or desktop. They're using the internet with the help of the browser. They're accessing the application. It will be Gmail also, Facebook also, Instagram also, banking applications also. Everything they're accessing with the help of browser and the internet access. But from 2010 and 2012 onwards, usage of mobile apps are very, very high. Everybody is started using this okay, applications through mobile apps, banking functionalities through mobile app, finance through mobile app, reserving movie tickets through mobile app, reserving travel tickets through mobile app. So each and every functionality, each and every application, the people are implementing through accessing through mobile apps. But as part of this Salesforce, whatever the visual first programming that we have, whatever the classic development that we have, in this classic development, Salesforce people has identified some drawbacks. Salesforce people identified few issues in this classic development. So what kind of issues they have identified in classic development? Now let me explain. Let me explain the drawbacks. Drawbacks of this classic development. Now, the first drawback is in this classic development, in order to build the business logics, we are using Apex programming. To design the user interfaces, we are using okay, Visual Force programming. These are the two programming languages we are using from 2007 onwards as part of Force.com platform. That is called as classic development. So now here in this case, in classic development, we are having few issues are available here. We are having few issues. Then what kind of issues are available in this classic development? Now let me explain one by one. Now, so in classic development, the first major problem is whatever the user interfaces we have designed by using Visual Force, Visual Force user interfaces are not giving attractive look and feel. That is the first problem. Whatever the user interfaces we have designed through Visual Force programming, Visual Force user interfaces are not looking like attractive. We don't have attractive look and feel. We don't have such kind of features to make my user interface look like rich. So that here, there is a first problem. Generally, whenever the people are accessing the application, then people will attract with the application if the application is having attractive look and feel. Whatever the screens, whatever the user interfaces we have designed, if those are looking like attractive, then only people will show interest to use our applications. So that here, Visual Force won't provide attractive look and feel for your user interfaces. This is the first drawback. Okay, the first drawback is Visual Force won't provide attractive look and feel. This is the first problem here. The first problem is Visual Force won't provide attractive look and feel for the user interface. Second one. Second problem is whatever the user interfaces that we have designed by using Visual Force user interfaces are not mobile friendly interfaces. That means user interfaces which have designed through okay Visual Force programming, those user interfaces we can't access through mobile apps. These can be accessible through browser internet access, but not through mobile apps. This is the second problem here. Now, Visual Force user interfaces are not mobile friendly. That is, we can't access them from mobile apps. We can't access these user interfaces from mobile apps. This is the second problem they have identified. Third one, when coming to the Visual Force user interfaces, these are having some performance issues. Visual Force user interfaces causes performance issues because here the whole user interfaces should be processed by the Salesforce server. So in this case, as part of Visual Force programming, it is providing performance issues. That means processing the Visual Force page code will take more time by the page renderer. There is a problem here. Now, it causes performance issues. It causes performance issues. This is the third major problem here. Next, the fourth one. When coming to the Visual Force programming, okay, when coming to the Visual Force programming. So now, whatever the user interfaces that we have designed by using Visual Force programming, those are not supporting much customizations. This won't support much customization. That means if you want to remove some feature inside the user interface, okay, it won't be supporting over there. Most of the classic user interfaces are fixed user interfaces which can't be customizable. Okay, most of the classic user interfaces are purely fixed user interfaces which can't be customizable here. So we don't have much customizations in okay Salesforce classic development. Okay, now classic development won't provide much customizations. Classic development won't provide much customizations. And the last drawback is Visual Force purely supports MVC development style. MVC development style. MVC stands for model, view, and controller. MVC purely supports, okay, Visual Force purely supports MVC development style, model, view, and the controller. Model means database, that means objects, fields, and then we are having the relationships. These are comes under model part. View means user interfaces like tabs, applications, page layouts, set layouts, lookup dialogues. These are all are comes under view. Controllers means business logics. Like we can build the business logic through validations and then formulas also. And we can use roll-up summaries, sharing rules, assignment rules, triggers. These are all are comes under controller part here. So Visual Force is purely supporting okay MVC architecture. So these are few drawbacks are available. Whenever we are building the applications by using this classic development, that means by using Apex and Visual Force programming, so now we are having few drawbacks as part of classic development. Visual Force okay won't provide attractive look and feel. So whatever the user interfaces that I'm going to design, those will not be having attractive look and feel. That is the first problem. Second one, Visual Force user interfaces are not mobile friendly. These user interfaces can be accessible with the help of browser and in the internet access, but we can't access them through mobile apps. This is the second problem. Third problem is Visual Force user interfaces causes performance issues. It will take more time to load that page. It will take more time to process by the application server as well. And then, as part of this classic development, it won't provide much customization. Customizing a small feature on the user interface will take more time. There is a problem as part of this classic development here. And the fifth problem is Visual Force purely supports MVC development style, where each functionality will be implemented in the form of model, view, and the controller part. These are the various issues are available as part of this okay classic development. So now from there onwards in 2007 onwards, so many people have started using Salesforce. Salesforce got huge demand in the market because of Visual Force. Why? Because in Visual Force development part has been reduced. Most of the tags are built-in tags, ready-made tags are available here. So development part has been completely reduced. From there, so many clients started using Salesforce because of this okay Force.com platform with Apex and Visual Force programming, because coding part has been completely minimized. Now, so now here from 2010 and 2012 onwards, utilization of mobile apps are very, very high. Everybody is accessing the applications through mobile apps. If you want to do some bank transactions, people are using mobile app. If you want to pay utility bills, people are using mobile apps. If you want to do financial transactions, people are using mobile apps. Everything they're operating through mobile apps. But the problem is, whatever the Salesforce CRM they have built, this is Salesforce CRM is purely using Apex and Visualforce programming, but this Visualforce user interfaces are not accessible through mobile app. This is the problem here. So in that case, Salesforce people got an idea. Why can't we make our Salesforce CRM application can be accessible through mobile apps? Because our Salesforce CRM application is for what? To automate our sales data, service data, marketing data. These are the three. Additionally, client can build their own applications, banking, finance, whatever. It depends upon their business needs. So now Salesforce CRM provides the sales application, service, and the marketing. Now tell me, these three will be using by whom? My sales team, my service team, my marketing team. These people are always sitting in an office to work in the organization? No. Marketing team is keep on moving around the different places to do the marketing, to promote our products by conducting various campaigns, stalls, advertisements, trade shows in different locations. So these people are not working by sitting in an office. These people are keep on moving around to the different places. Next, second one, my sales team. My sales team is going to be selling out the products to the customers by meeting the customers from different locations. So these people are also not sitting in an office always. They keep on moving to the different customers to meet the customers, to give the information, to offer some benefits, to offer some discounts, and to sell out the products. Third one, my service team. My service team is going to be moving around the different places. Okay, they're moving to the customers' locations to give the services. In this case, these people are not sitting in an office. But this application is using by whom? Sales team, service team, marketing team. But these people, how they can access the application whenever they are outside, whenever they're in the field, whenever they're in the campaigns, or it may be at the service locations, how these people can access my CRM application. In order to access the application, they have to carry a laptop, they have to carry a dongle also. That means a data card in order to access the internet. But in this case, why can't we make our Salesforce CRM application also can be accessible through mobile apps? If it is accessible through mobile app, my sales team, my service team, my marketing team can access this CRM application from any place in the world by using their smartphones. They no need to carry a laptop always. By using their smartphones, they can show their identity inside that application. They can log into our application. They can access the application through mobile app. They can update the sales data, service data, marketing data, everything through online through the mobile apps. So, but when coming to that Visual Force user interfaces are not accessible through mobile apps. That is a problem. For that reason here, when coming to the Salesforce people, they have introduced a feature called as Salesforce One. They have introduced a feature called as Salesforce One. That is called as Lightning Experience. Lightning Experience. They have introduced in 2014. In 2014, they have introduced a feature called as Salesforce One, that is also called as Lightning Experience. Now, in 2014, see how the transformations are going on. In 2014, Salesforce introduced Lightning Experience. Lightning Experience. This is also called as Salesforce One. They have introduced a Salesforce One. In 2014, Salesforce introduced Lightning Experience. Then what do you mean by this Lightning Experience? Now let's see. whatever the Salesforce CRM application they have, which they have built by using Force.com platform, which they have built by using classic development with the help of Apex and Visualforce programming. Now, all this Visualforce programming user interfaces they have migrated to Lightning Experience. That means they made these user interfaces can be accessible through mobile apps also. So that here they have introduced Lightning Experience. What user interfaces they have migrated here? Only that Salesforce CRM application. Only the Salesforce CRM application they have migrated to Lightning Experience here by using a platform called as Salesforce One. It's a mobile platform from Salesforce. Salesforce One is a mobile platform from Salesforce which has been used in order to make this Salesforce CRM can be accessible through the mobile apps by using this Lightning Experience. But in this case here, observe this one. This Lightning Experience is only to make Salesforce CRM can be accessible from mobile apps. But what about the custom applications? From 2007 onwards, so many customers has built their own applications. Banking application, finance application, insurance application, pharmaceutical, so many applications they have built. But this Lightning Experience is providing only Salesforce CRM application. Sales application, service and the marketing applications can be accessible through mobile apps. But what about our custom applications? So in order to build your own custom applications also in such a way which can be accessible through mobile apps, so that they have introduced a Lightning framework. They have introduced a framework that is called as Lightning framework. Salesforce people introduced Lightning framework. Salesforce introduced Lightning framework. So when they have introduced this Lightning framework introduced by Salesforce in the year 2016. They have introduced Lightning framework. In the year 2016. In the year 2016, they have introduced Lightning framework. Now this is also called as ARA framework. ARA framework or Lightning framework both are same, no differences. ARA framework or Lightning framework both are same. So now why they have introduced this Lightning framework here? Because Lightning Experience is exposing Salesforce CRM application functionality to be accessible from mobile apps. But whatever the custom applications you have built as of now, like your banking applications, finance applications, insurance, pharmaceutical, manufacturing, these applications, if you want to make it accessible through mobile apps, then we can use the help of this framework which has introduced by Salesforce in the year 2016, that is called as a Lightning framework. So in this case here, what we can do, instead of using Visualforce programming, they have given that Lightning framework which is having some Lightning components which we can use to design our own user interfaces. So to design the user interfaces, instead of using HTML tags, instead of using HTML programming, we can use the Lightning framework components. We can use Lightning framework components. So now here in this case here, this Lightning framework is purely built upon ARA programming. ARA is an open source programming. Open source means which is available in the internet and free. Okay, which is available in the internet and free. So that here ARA is an open source programming. It's a free programming available in the internet. Salesforce people has adopted this ARA programming, and on top of this ARA programming, they did some lot of enhancements. They did so many customizations, and then finally they have introduced that ARA programming as part of Lightning programming in the year 2016. This is only for user interface design. Backend will be purely Apex programming, same. From 2000 onwards till now, same Apex programming for the backend, but front end they keep on changing over. Initially S controls, then Visualforce, now Lightning framework over here. Backend will be same Apex programming, no change at all from 2000 onwards. So now they have introduced Lightning framework over here to make the user interfaces simple and lightweight. So with the help of this Lightning framework, we can design our own customized user interfaces. Then what do you mean by this Lightning framework? Lightning frameworks are nothing but user interface frameworks. Okay, these are nothing but user interface framework which can be used to design attractive and responsive user interfaces, which are used to design attractive and responsive user interfaces which can be accessible from both the mobile apps and from your desktop systems also. Desktop systems means what? From your browser also we can access. So we can design one user interface. That same user interface we can access from browser also, we can access from mobile apps also. Depends upon the requirement, we can make it accessible. Okay, understood the concept over here? Now, so now here in this case here, okay, now here in this case, as part of this ARA programming is purely built upon component-based programming here. What do you mean by a component? Component is nothing but a small piece of code which we can make it reusable in different places of application development. It's like as a small feature which we can use in different places of your application development. Now, so because here Lightning framework is purely built upon component-based framework. Now, let me explain what exactly component-based framework. I'm going to the classic part over here. Let's see. First, let me explain classic part. I'm going back to classic part. When you go to the accounts tab to create a new record, we are getting some user interface. These user interfaces are purely built upon Visual Force programming. These are purely built upon Visual Force programming. Classic is purely Visual Force. Okay, Classic is purely built upon Visual Force programming here. Now, this all the user interfaces are okay Visual Force user interfaces. Now, suppose for example, when I go to this accounts tab, this is the home page. Now here we are having recent records section. We have enhanced list view control. We have reports section. We have tools section. These are the sections are there. Sometimes my client said that I don't want this reports section. I want to remove this. For my clients, I don't want to show this reports section. They don't want reports facilities. I want to remove this. What can I do? Do we have any such options in Classic part to remove only some specific features from the user interface? No, because Classic user interfaces are purely fixed user interfaces, static user interfaces which cannot be customizable. We can't remove this feature from your user interface. Sometimes the client will raise a requirement for the free customers. I don't want to show this mask delete accounts option. Remaining options I want as it is, but this particular option I don't want. In this one, I don't want this account history report here. I don't want. Remaining options I want as it is. In this kind of scenario, we can't customize these kind of functionalities through Salesforce Classic. As part of Classic user interfaces, this kind of customizations are not possible. That's what here I told you as part of this Visual Force programming, Visual Force won't provide much customizations here. It won't support much customizations. Here's the problem. If you don't want these features, then what is the alternative solution here? Here I don't want this, I don't want this here. In that case, what needs to be done? This entire user interface we have to design, okay, we have to redesign this entire user interface exactly in the same format without these two options. Just to remove these two options, we have to redesign this whole user interface as it is without these two options. In that case, now tell me, will it take more time, right? Yes, definitely. It will be increasing that okay development time. If the development time is increased, automatically budget also will get increased. So in that case, it will be require some more technical skills for the developers. These are the problems. So now here for that reason here, when coming to the Salesforce, instead of making this whole user interface as a single page, they have divided the whole functionality into various small pieces that is called as components. Now, so when you go to this records over here, let's see. I'm opening a record. Up to this part, it's one component. Up to this part, this is one component, component one. There is a second part here. There is a second component, component two. There is a third part. There is a component three. There is a fourth part. There is a component four. Like that here, the whole user interface they have divided into various small reusable pieces that is called as component. Then what do you mean by component? Component is nothing but a piece of reusable code. Component is nothing but a piece of reusable code which can be designed once and then we can use it in multiple places of your application development. So that we can make that code more reusable. Develop the code once, reuse it in different places just by using some mouse clicks. Okay, so that here as part of this Lightning framework, it is purely built upon component based framework. Now, so in this case here, let's see. They have introduced this Lightning framework that is also called as ARA framework from the year 2016. From there onwards, Salesforce is keep on promoting to the customers to use this ARA framework so that we can make your applications can be accessible through mobile apps also. Whatever the custom applications that you want, you can build by using this ARA framework. You can make your application can be accessible through with the help of browser and the mobile apps also both. So for that reason, they have introduced ARA framework. Now, from there onwards, people have started using this ARA framework. They're building the application through ARA framework itself. Now, after 2 years, Salesforce people got an idea. Right now, we are using this ARA framework. It is working very fine, no issues. But to build this ARA framework, we have used ARA programming. It is a open source programming. It's a free programming available in the internet. So now in this case, suppose for example, right now this is free. Suppose tomorrow after 2 years, if this ARA programming has been made it as paid, then if this ARA programming has been retired from the internet, if the respective organization has deleted this programming, then what about our applications? What about our customers? Those people will be getting affected here. Now, in that case over here, Salesforce people got an idea. We don't want to rely on any other third-party frameworks. We want to go with our own framework. We want to build our own framework. In that framework, we will try to reduce the development code. So that here in 2018 December, Salesforce people introduced one more framework that is called as Lightning Web Component. Salesforce introduced Lightning Web Component framework in 2018 December. In 2018 December, Salesforce people introduced one more framework that is called as Lightning Web Component. LWC framework that is called as Lightning Web Component. Lightning Web Components. See, this is only ARA components here. This is Lightning Web Components. Now here normal component, web component, both are having difference. Normal component can be accessible within Salesforce frameworks only. Within Salesforce frameworks only. Web components can be accessible within Salesforce framework in third-party frameworks also. That means in outside of that framework also, here you can access from any other third-party frameworks or platforms like in SharePoint also from Microsoft or SAP platform also, Heroku platform also. In other platforms also we can access web components. This is a major difference. Okay, so now ARA component can be accessible within Salesforce frameworks only in ARA framework, in Lightning Web Component framework, because both are from Salesforce. But when you go to the web development web component framework, this can be accessible from LWC framework, ARA framework also, SAP platform also, and SharePoint platform also, and Heroku platform also here. In multiple platforms also we can make it accessible. Okay, that facility is available as part of web components. So now here in this case, as part of Salesforce, they have introduced a new framework called as LWC, which is the own framework of Salesforce, which they have designed by their own, and which is simple, which is lightweight. Building that functionalities in Lightning Web Component is very, very easy when compared with ARA framework. When compared with ARA, building that Lightning Web Components are very, very simple, very, very easy here. Okay, clear? Now, so these are the two component based framework introduced by Salesforce. Salesforce introduced, these are the two component based frameworks. These are the two Lightning component frameworks. So now here in this case, after that we are having this two frameworks over here from Lightning Web Component frameworks over here. From Salesforce Lightning Component frameworks, we are having two frameworks are available, ARA and Lightning Web Component. ARA framework introduced by Salesforce in the year 2016 and the Lightning Web Component introduced by Salesforce in the year 2018 December. ARA is purely built upon ARA programming, which is a third party, and then Lightning Web Component is the own framework of Salesforce. Okay, it's a own framework of Salesforce, which has been purely built by Salesforce people to make user interfaces simple and lightweight. Okay, understood the concept here? So this is the history of your Lightning framework. Initially, we are having only 4 StarCom platform with Apex and S controls. Later, S controls has been replaced with Visual Force. Later, Visual Force is replaced with the ARA framework here. Later, ARA framework also replaced with Lightning Web Component framework. So Lightning Web Components is the advanced framework from Salesforce, which is an advanced framework from the Salesforce, which can be used to design your own components, which we can able to use it in different places of your application development. Understood the functionality? Clear? Now, make a note of this one. Lightning framework. Lightning framework is the user interface framework. That means UI framework. Which can be used to design attractive and responsive user interfaces, which can be accessible from both mobile and desktop applications. Now, by using Lightning framework, we can design attractive user interfaces, based on the need, and we can make the user interfaces lightweight. Lightweight so that we can make the application performance faster. Lighting user interfaces can be accessible through mobile apps. Accessible through mobile apps. Lighting framework is purely built upon component based framework. Lighting framework is purely built upon component based framework. That is, each functionality or feature in the application has been implemented in the form of smaller reusable units called as components. Component is nothing but a piece of reusable code which can be designed once and can be reusable in different places of the application development. In different places of the application development. Salesforce provides two lighting frameworks. First one, lighting framework. This is also called as ARA framework in 2016. Second one, lighting web component framework in 2018 December. Done with this? Now, then what are the various benefits of Lightning Component Framework? So what benefits that we have? So that already we know few benefits over here. Like when coming to that Lightning Component Framework, Lightning component frameworks are used to design our own customized user interfaces with attractive look and feel. So we can apply our own font, our own style, our own size, our own colors. We can apply our own fonts also so that we can make that user interface attractive and then responsive as well. That means it will be loading internally automatically by default over here. That is one of the major benefit here. Now, so with the help of this Lightning component frameworks, we can make our user interface simple and lightweight because we are not going to be using server-side programming much. Most of the functionalities we are executing in the client side, okay, with the help of JavaScript. Instead of using Apex programming always, because Apex programming will be executing where inside the Salesforce server. So instead of sending the request to Salesforce server every time, instead of sending some server trips to that server, instead of putting some more load, instead of putting some more burden on the server, we can able to perform most of the operations in client side itself, in the browser side itself, in our local system itself with the help of okay, JavaScript, so that here we can improve your application performance as well. That facility is available. And the two Lightning component framework, by using this Lightning component framework, whatever the user interfaces you are going to design, whatever the components you are going to build, these are mobile friendly components. These can be accessible through mobile apps also. That facility is available. And along with that here, these are providing more security with the help of Lightning Locker service. As part of this Lightning framework, we have a feature called as Lightning Locker service. So whenever a person is utilizing a component, other people can't make any changes in the component level. So that it will be freezing that component. It will apply the locks on the components also automatically. That facility is available over here. Now, so now here in this case here, when coming to that Lightning framework, it is providing more benefits over here so that we can able to use this Lightning framework in most of the applications. Nowadays, all the applications have been migrated from Visual Force to Lightning framework. So when you go to that any company for the opportunity, definitely they're expecting Lightning frameworks. Okay. Now here we have two frameworks are available. Okay, ARA framework and then Lightning Web Component. So here some people might be having a question. Sir, LWC is the latest one. Can't we learn only LWC here? Or do we need to learn both the frameworks? Both are required. Why? Because when coming to that in 2016, okay, Lightning framework introduced by Salesforce. From there onwards, so many people has migrated the application from Visual Force to okay, ARA framework. That means Lightning framework. Still, those applications are running on ARA framework. Slowly, now the people are migrating from ARA to LWC. In that case, we should be able to understand ARA framework first, and then you should be able to understand a Lightning Web Component also. That's what here, when you go to any requirement, the people are expecting both. In every company, they're expecting both ARA framework, Lightning Web Component knowledge both. But mainly, as part of these training sessions, we are going to more focusing on Lightning Web Component because this is an advanced framework which is the future for Salesforce. So that here, I would like to more focus on Lightning Web Component framework. Okay, so for first 10 to 15 days, okay, we'll be discussing ARA framework. Then next 25 to 30 days, we'll be discussing on Lightning Web Component. It will take almost 40 days here. 30 to 40 days. In these 40 days, okay, 10 to 15 days I would like to spend on okay, ARA framework. Remaining 25 days I would like to spend with Lightning Web Component. Okay, but in both the cases here, to perform the operations, we need a programming that is JavaScript. JavaScript will be must and should. Without JavaScript, you can't do anything in Lightning framework. You can't write any business logic in Lightning framework. JavaScript is must and should. Then what is JavaScript, how it will look like, everything I will explain as part of our sessions. As part of training sessions of Lightning Framework, I will include JavaScript also. We are spending minimum 4 to 5 sessions completely on JavaScript programming here. Okay, don't worry about the JavaScript programming. JavaScript is very very important here as part of Lightning development, because whenever we are using this Lightning Web Component, at the end of Lightning Web Component development, you can understand how much percentage we are using Apex, how much percentage we are using JavaScript. At the end of this Lightning Web Component framework, you will get the information 80% of business logic we are implementing through JavaScript, only 20% of okay, functionality we are implementing through Apex program. Okay, 80% is JavaScript, 20% will be Apex programming. That means they would like to reduce that, okay, coding. They would like to reduce the server trips, so that we can able to perform more operations in client side, inside the browser side, so that we can reduce the server trips, we can able to reduce the burden of the server, we can improve your application performance. Okay, so usage of Apex programming is very very rare. Okay, most of the functionality, almost 80 to 85% of the code we are writing through JavaScript. Okay, generally in the training sessions, nobody will discuss about JavaScript here. Directly they will try to writing the code. But here we'll spend 5 sessions completely on JavaScript. I will explain fundamental basic to advanced level. If you know the fundamental concepts of Apex programming, like data types, variables, operators, output statements, conditional statements, iterative statements, arrays, if you know these concepts in Apex, same will be there in JavaScript also, nothing different. But little bit syntactical differences, little bit data types differences here, almost it will be available same. Okay, if you know this fundamental concept, writing the code in Lightning framework is very simple. Okay, now make a note of this one. Benefits of Lightning component. By using Lightning component frameworks, we can design attractive and responsive user interfaces by applying our own font, style, color, size, etc. These are mobile friendly interfaces which can be accessible through mobile apps. These are lightweight user interfaces which reduce the server trips and will increase the application performance. Will increase the application performance. It provides more security for the component by using Lightning Locker services. By using Lightning Locker services. It purely supports component-based framework. It purely supports component-based framework. So now where we can use these lighting components? That already we know lighting framework is purely built upon component based framework. Yes, you can use. ARA and okay, lighting web component both will be accessible from mobile apps. Right, right. Dependency. And that too, when you go to that ARA programming, here most of the functionalities we have to build. In Lighting Web Components, most of the functionalities are built-in available because ARA programming is purely built upon 2014 web stack. Lighting Web Components are purely built upon 2019 web stack. In 2019 web stack, more number of functionalities are available, built-in available here. So coding part has been completely reduced. When you go to the ARA framework, coding part is huge. In Lighting Web Component, coding part is completely minimized. Now, so now once the lighting web components has been built, or once the lighting components has been built, where we can use this lighting components. Lighting components can be used in different places. That already told you, design the component once and use these components in different places of your application development. Then where we can use this lighting components in your lighting applications also, and then lighting page also, lighting record page also, lighting tab also, lighting communities also over here. We can access these components from other frameworks also, like as SAP, Heroku, SharePoint, in other platforms also with the help of a feature called as a lighting out. By using this lighting out, we can make it accessible from other platforms also. That facility is available over here. Now, here in this case, you can raise a question. Sir, can we use both ARA framework and Lightning Web Component framework within a single application? Yes. Whenever we are building your application, like for example, upon building this entire user interface, this is the Lightning page. Now this is a component one, this is a second component, this is a third component, this is a fourth component here. We can able to use. Assume that this component one has been built by using ARA. This is from LWC. This is LWC. This is ARA, like that here. So we can able to build the components by using either ARA or LWC. We can use them both mixed into a single application itself. Within a single lighting application, so now we can able to use the combination of both ARA components and lighting web components also. That facility is available. That means both ARA and LWC both are having coexistence. Both can communicate with each other over here. Okay, both can communicate with each other. But there is a small limitation is available. There is a small limitation. What is that? Let me explain. For example, I'm having this two components are available here. I'm having two components. This is a parent component. In this one, I have a child component. This is another component here. Three components are available. This is the component 1. This is the component 2. This is the component 3. Three components are available. Assume that this is ARA. This is the parent component here. This is ARA component. This is the parent component. This is a child component here C2. This is also by using ARA. This is a child component C3. That means component 3. This is LWC. Now, parent component is ARA component. Inside the parent component, we have two childs are available here. One is ARA, second one LWC. This kind of combination is possible. Okay. Inside a ARA component, we can use a Lightning Web component also. ARA component is a parent component. Lightning Web component is a child component. Clear? Now, let's come to that combination here. One more. Now assume that this is a component here. This component is purely a LWC component. Parent component is Lightning Web component. Inside that we are using one more Lightning Web component. If I am using an ARA component inside this LWC, it won't support. It won't support. Okay? Understood the combination? Okay? Now, inside an ARA component, we can use LWC. But inside the LWC component, you can't use ARA component here. That is a limitation. It's a common question in most of the interviews. Can I use, okay, a Lightning Web component inside an ARA component? Yes. Can I use a ARA component inside an LWC component? No, that will not be possible here. Okay, this is a restriction that we have. Suppose, for example, here we are having two components are available. This is the ARA component, this is the LWC component, but both can communicate with each other. These two can communicate with each other here. But when coming to the parent and child, this is the restriction that we have. Okay, now because here this is purely having that latest web stack. This is old web stack here. Functionalities are not available, but here most of the functionalities are built in available here. Now let's see. We can use the Lightning components in different places as below. First one, we can use inside the Lightning application. We can embed inside a Lightning page. We can use inside Lightning record page. We can use it in Lightning tabs. We can use it in Lightning community sites. We can use it in other platforms like SharePoint, SAP, Heroku, etc. In other platforms also we can able to use. No. Currently, both ARA and LWC components are coexistent within a single application. We can reference a Lightning Web component inside the ARA component. But we can't reference a ARA component inside the Lightning Web component. This is a coexistence. These are the fundamental functionalities of lighting framework. Okay, just to replace the Visualforce pages, they have introduced lighting framework, and then most of the business logics were implementing with the help of JavaScript. Then, as part of this lighting framework, what are the various architectural changes that Salesforce made? Okay, we'll see in tomorrow's session. In tomorrow's session, I will explain what exactly the classic MVC, how this classic MVC works, how the lighting MVC works. How the lighting MVC works, we'll see. In this lighting framework, we are not using Apex programming. Apex programming will be a very last. Okay, we are using only one or two sessions at the last, not much. Most of the things will be purely JavaScript. Now, so now here as part of this classic MVC, so now what is that classic MVC architecture look like? What is the lighting MVC architecture look like? We'll see in tomorrow's session. I will explain, and then tomorrow we'll see how to create our own lighting application. What is a lighting application, what it contains, and then what properties are available, and then what is the lighting application bundle that we have, how many files are available, what exactly the functionality of each file in that component application bundle, how to create the lighting application, where to create, and what are the ways are available, how to see, everything we'll see practically one by one. Then we will enter into lighting component. That means Aura components first, then we'll enter into lighting web components. LWC will be having almost 20 to 25 sessions completely. Aura will be only 15 sessions, including JavaScript also. Including JavaScript. Because if I am giving the JavaScript functionality in Aura, then in Lightning Web Component, no need to discuss because same. Okay, same JavaScript we are going to use over there, so that we can spend more time on Lightning Web Components. Okay. Now, but don't miss these features here. Topics are interlinked topics, and that too very important, very interesting concepts also. But practice is very important here for Lightning Web Components. Okay, for Lightning framework, practice is very important. Yes, I will be giving the use cases also. I will show you some practical examples in the class. I will be giving some assignments also to you, so that you can work on this. Okay. Yes, we are having the course content in the management people. They will be sharing that course content also to you. Okay. Thank you all. Thanks for your time. Let's meet on tomorrow at same time. Okay. Don't miss that sessions here. Topics are very important. Because nowadays, if you want to get the opportunities on Salesforce, lighting will be must and should. Without the lighting, you can't get the opportunities. You won't get any calls. Your profile will not shortlisted. Okay, so that here these are very important features, and then this is the right time here to utilize, and that too this time we are having that regular sessions, classroom plus online both. The people who are interested for the classroom, they can come to the classroom. People who wants to join through online, they can join through online also. This is a regular batch over here, so that we can complete within one month to 40 days max. Generally, if it will be only for weekends, we are spending only Saturday and Sunday, so that will be for 3.5 months. Instead of wasting 3.5 months, within 40 days, you can complete the whole series, so that you can grab the opportunities very fast. Okay, and then use the same meeting link for this entire week also here, so that please be available for tomorrow's session as usual. Thank you.